I like Detroit style.
That does look pretty good.
Detroit.
Hey.
Detroit.
Wow. Holy hell.
Yes.
Keep that in.
Keep that.
That's the open.
That was nuts.
Do that one more time.
Nope.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Almost Friday podcast, guys. William Angus, William Holgate
You already
Angus,
know it's me.
and me, Liam Cullah.
What the F is up?
What the F is up with you guys, man?
Excuse my gouache. Yes. Excuse my language. It's my new thing I'm saying lately.
It's pretty cool, so you can take it if you want. I'm sure he's not going to be mad.
I'll be okay.
You know we're sponsored by Cuervo, man. Look at my hat. Look at
Cuervo.
the
What the heck is
Cuervo?
Cuervo?
Jose Cuervo.
Oh, you mean the best GD tequila on the market?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, I needed you to clarify. You mean that stuff that's made with 100% agave tequila?
Yeah, I'm talking about that.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the thing that jumpstarts friendships and just makes social life a breeze.
I'm talking about the
Like
best,
floating down a river.
floating down a river and just in a kayak, like Christopher McCandless in the beginning of Into the Wild.
Yes.
And it's great for shots. That's my favorite part about it.
Are you kidding me? It's the best for shots. Boom, 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 boom. Putting them back. You did party animal. No, Liam's a good kid. Guys, Jose Cuervo, so glad to be a part of the family. They're such big supporters of the pod, such big supporters of our live shows. We love them. We love their product. I mean, they've been around forever, and there's a reason for that, okay?
Everybody here at Friday Beers, yeah, we like to have a few cold ones.
Yeah. It kind of comes with the territory. Emily's getting in on it. But when we want to switch from that heavy beer to a smoother liqueur, you know where we go.
Setting the weekend in motion with a shot of tequila. And we're really into this new Cuervo Cristalino.
And what the heck is that flavor called again?
Cuervo
Cristalino.
100% agave tequila.
Sounds like a city in Italy or something.
It sounds,
Are you kidding me?
pretty
Sounds so
fucking
fancy.
fantastic. But thank you to Cuervo.
Thanks to Jose himself.
And now, real quick before we get into the episode, a word from some of our other sponsors. Thank you to our sponsor, Babbel, man. Traveling this summer? Learn to speak like the locals with Babbel. Get started right now with 55% off your Babbel subscription for our listeners. Go to babbel.com/Friday. That's 55% off at babbel.com/Friday for our listeners.
BABBEL.com/Friday.
Rules and restrictions may apply. And a quick word from Factor. Take it away, Will.
Here's the thing about Factor. If you're looking for wholesome, convenient meals to support sunny, active days, look no further. Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, and it can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door.
Head to factormeals.com/almostfriday50 and use code almostfriday50 to get 50% off. That's code almostfriday50 at factormeals.com/almostfriday50 to get 50% off. Let's get into the episode.
Guys, welcome back to the Almost Friday podcast. I'm here with Liam, and we've got a very special guest today, Graeme Barrett.
Yep.
Graeme, thanks for coming by.
Go on.
Go on.
Yeah.
Say some more nice things about him.
You said you were going to read
I really like your style.
Thank you.
I love this this shirt you're wearing. It kind of looks like a tweed sort of. I don't know.
You were going to read out my credits as well.
Liam, I think you were in charge of that. Oh, Emily, or producer.
Yeah.
But okay.
Go through. You put together the one sheet, right? Go through.
You got that going?
Yep.
Emily's really good at her job.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing you're going to learn about her.
Yeah, I come on time. I come prepared and ready to go.
And you were going to send us
Hey, that's a new hat.
Yeah. Shout out to our sponsor.
We actually did try to put together a little one sheet on you. It's so hard to find information about your life online.
Batman.
You put on the mask, never take it off.
No.
I did find an IMDb, but I wasn't sure if that was you. Is that you?
I could have been.
How would he know which one you're looking at?
Well, do you have credits on IMDb?
I do.
So then, yes, that was definitely.
I didn't know if there was more than one of my name.
It's an interesting way to spell Graham.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't. Yeah, I think that was more in my mom's error. But there's like a North American way and like a Scottish way. Mm-hmm. And so when people always be like, "Oh, that's how it's said out loud," so it's sometimes when I get like called out at the dentist or whatever, and it's just me sitting there.
Yeah.
And they call me Graeme. Graeme Barrett.
Are you Scottish?
I probably. I'm like Métis a bit, which is like Canadian Indigenous mixed with like French
Good answer.
or something.
Very safe answer.
Yeah. And I don't know, probably some German in there. Let's throw that in their hat. I don't know. Some I want to say off-white, but that's still just white.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, Graeme, you're Canadian. You were just telling us about your stand-up and your kind of your online content. When did you start doing the online videos? If you guys haven't seen him, pause the video and go look at his page right now and come back. You've probably already seen the videos.
I owe the banks a lot of money, but little do they know, I just learned about manifestation. Now I'm gonna get so much money, I don't need a job. Why? Because I can manifest. I don't need the old gods anymore. I answer to no one. Everything is mine, thanks to manifestation.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I had always done, I came from a music background, child prodigy music background, only played piano with my pinkies, chopsticks, yeah, music background. I was originally from Winnipeg, Canada, and then I moved to Toronto in 2016 to like produce pop music and rap.
Did you go to school for music? Or
Kind
it was
of,
just a side thing?
like it was like a 9 months program,
Yeah.
but that it taught me that there really wasn't an industry. That was, like it didn't tell you anything. It was like it'd be like going to film school versus going to a work on set. You
Right.
like could have just made money doing this another way, but yeah. So I did that. A horrible experience. Did a bunch of like songs and. Did a lot of electronic music and kind of wrote pitch songs for a lot of pop people. Didn't have like huge placements, but it would always be like, this guy's got your song in the
Yeah.
tank. And then I'd just be sitting there eating my like expired granola being like, damn, I made it.
Like what compared to another artist? What type of? I know those pop.
It really varied because like if you're writing pitch stuff, you're writing for, you're trying to imitate another song. And so they'd be like, oh, everyone's looking for this kind of song, or everyone's looking for that. And then like I had produced a couple projects in like the more emo rap world, which I had done like that also kind of led me into the music video stuff, which is I had done music videos for like the Getter Joji was shot in my living room, directed by me.
Oh, really?
Sick.
Yeah, I'm in all the videos casually, but my hair's down, so you can't really tell. Like the Getter Joji, that one I directed, and
Okay, that's what I saw on IMDb. The marshmallow.
oh yeah, the Marshmallow Low Peep. There is a Smashing Pumpkins one I did.
That's sick. Do you direct these, or you're just you
Some of
produce
them I direct, and then some of them I like write them, and then my friend directed. But I would be like, it was very
What
like
do you
a
mean by
collaborative.
writing it? Like you write the idea for the music video?
Yeah, it'd be like the man puts his hand in purple goop, and then a light comes down, and
He'd be a good fit here.
Okay, yeah, wait. I don't want to derail too much, but I've always wondered this. Like, when you're coming up with a music video idea, do people come to you and say, like, hey, here's this song. Can you make a music video for it? Like, how do you... Sometimes the video won't relate at all to what the song's about,
Right.
but the video's still incredible. Like, how do you come up with, like... Well, what's your process for being like...
I put my hand in the purple goop, and I say, give me an idea, man. Put that in the microwave, even better. I mean, it's more of like a visual thing. I think it's kind of just like when you get like an inspiration for a joke. Like, I'm not a guy who can sit down and be like, all right, farts, how do I make this funny? Like it's something just has to like fall into my head, or I see something. And so like for the music video stuff, I would like listen to it and just kind of like, what do I see? And sometimes there would be people would come with like an idea. Like Getter originally came to me with the Joji thing. He was like, I want to do something with like devil horns or like the demon. I was like, okay, cool. And then I just kind of dwelled on that, which kind of like evolved from there. So sometimes they have like a starting point, and then I just kind of go off and
Gotcha.
do that.
Yeah, I was just wondering because, often they're not like narrative. They don't really make sense. So it's
No.
you got to tackle it way different than
Yeah, you can either do narrative or you can just do vibe, and then the harder is just combining narrative and vibe.
What's your favorite one you've written or directed?
I mean, there's like two. Probably the first one I did for myself, which is where my name. Everyone's always wondering what the Instagram handle is. That was my old musician name. I never changed it because I was verified on Twitter the old way, and if you change it, you lose the blue mark. And so I just was like, and then the comedy stuff took off, and like people would be adding the at, being like, "This guy stole your shit." So I was like, I don't want to just like change it, and now it's some Joe Schmo comes in and takes the handle.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll just live with this. Yeah, I guess the two I like was the Getter one, and they all have stories about them. And then the first one I did was like Audioopera Forever, which was shot in Winnipeg, and it's got one of the Kids in the Hall guys, who's like Kids in the Hall is like an old, legendary like comedy troupe. But yeah, those were like kind of my two favorites, kind of thing. But music video stuff is whatever. Like. It's a lot of work and it looks cool, but it doesn't really feed back to you unless it's your stuff. You know, like I would get hit by random people being like, "Hey, can you help this girl make a music video? We have $4 kind of thing." I'm like, "Nah, that's not what I want." So
When did you make your first one? Like your first like official?
well, I did something back in 2016 that had like its own little buzz in the scene, but like it was micro internet stuff where like people were still learning about the 90s. So like, you know, you throw an emoji on the screen, they're like, "This shit's tight."
Yeah.
But yeah, after the music video stuff, there was a couple big ones lined up, and then like kind of COVID hit, and then so I started stand up probably around 2019-ish, maybe 2018.
Why'd you transition? Just be like,
Well, the thing with the music stuff is like it's very much who you know, and like you can still like get hits and stuff, like maybe more so now with TikTok or whatever, with the TikTok. But I was just bored, and I think it was like I was putting in so much work, but it wasn't. I was putting in work for other people, and then the comedy stuff, I was like, you can only really blame yourself, and if I didn't, you know, I know I'm a work engine if I want to be. So it's like if I can put it back into myself. And then so I just started stand-up for like, I was like, I'll just do it for the sake of trying it. I think it was on my list. It's like when someone's like, what else would you do if you weren't doing this? You know? And stand-up was like the thing.
Right.
And so I was like, I used to live next to a comedy club in Winnipeg that would flood every spring. So let's try it. So
how old were you when you started doing stand-up?
Well, I just turned 31. I was 31 today and yesterday, and then before that I was 30. So
You made it.
I'm still here.
You made it over the hump.
Yeah, I got the body of a 31-year-old. It's catching up on it, which means I got to go to Disneyland. You know, gotta. That's what you do when you're 30.
How long are you in LA?
How long am I here?
Yeah. You said you're here for that pilot.
Yeah, I'm here till the 22nd. So like 2-ish weeks is what it's been, so or what it will be. But yeah, I again, stand-up is a weird thing in the sense that like it's stupid unless you like get bit by it, you know. Like, and at this point, I used it to I went into it from like a full like art way of like just I'd done music and I understand it where like certain things lied, and then looking at the art form from a different art form from the same perspective, I was like, all right, this is a little bit different. I'm going to come into it like a student and just like not, you know, so because the music, the guy who looks the coolest, you're like, this guy's got to be fucking good, right? And then comedy, you go in and you see some guy just like, I don't know, not looking good. And he demolishes the room. So it was kind of a good reset of like, it doesn't matter. And also the funniest guy probably doesn't have the best online. He's just good in the moment, you know, which is like kind of an interesting reset of like approaching it. Also, there is an interesting thing of taking the pressure off where comedy's a long form thing, you know, where it's, especially stand up, like you see a guy who's 50 years old, you're like, oh, hopefully he's really good, or else this is really sad. But like, there's no pressure because in the music world, it's like there was a point, I think less so now, but you're like, damn, I'm 25 and I'm, you know, like shit. unless you're like a country dude or something. So I think that was more just a pressure on myself, like taking that off. And
I feel that, yeah.
yeah,
It is kind of sad though when you get to a club and there is a 50-year-old guy, but it's like he just started this. This is his escape from work. It's like year one.
I think it's sad externally, but internally, oh, he's fucking loving it.
I
He's
hope
like, I'm
so.
back with the boys now. The kids are in high school. I'll test some jokes on them in the garage.
I saw some brutal stand-up in Fort Worth right before I came out here. Oh man, it's hard for me to go to some open mics. I don't know why.
if you're going to an open mic,
it rips my fucking heart out of my chest.
No. See, when the circle, you're here on the circle. You got to wait till it goes back to here, and you're like, this is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, watching a slow car crash is so entertaining, especially when you're front row. Yeah, no, there's a lot of open mics. Yeah, they should be checked up on a little bit more. But there was this one guy who would pop in once a month at the place I was working in a wheelchair with all their friends, and they were like, I don't know, 40s, 50s, kind of just having their night, and they go out. And this guy was so problematic. But he just kept ending all of his jokes with, fuck, I'm in a wheelchair. And like, everyone would be like, yeah, all right, I guess he's got okay. And then the thing is, he had like his catheter bag too, or whatever that is.
A colostomy bag.
Yeah, he's got his bag of apple juice or whatever. And so he was pounding them back. And then all the bathrooms in Toronto are in a basement, so he couldn't get down.
Oh, God.
Most of them are. And so like, they would wheel him out to the front, and there'd be like a curb, and he'd just like lean over, and you just hear like this splash, and then he would like I'm back in it, and he'd be like, what number am I on the list again? And we're like, shit. So
that is a hard act to follow.
Yeah, surprisingly, you know, he was a prop comic to some degree, but yeah. So yeah, where were we? So I did music, and then got into stand-up because I just wanted a refresh, and it was a good thing because, like, I always try and chase inspiration. As soon as I don't feel inspired or anything, like, that's what I spend most of my time doing, is just trying to walking around, going to estate sales, looking at dead people shit, being like, what's up? And then, then lockdown happened, so I got bit by the stand-up bug and then couldn't, like, do it, and so I started just chugging along on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And I remember when Vine came out, there was a lot of people who I was friends with really took off because I was on the weird Twitter tip on 2013. So a lot of people really took off, and I was way too egotistical to like be like, I'm not doing Vine. Yeah. And then they all became, you know, their own people. Like one guy who we like, me and Nick Coletti were like homies, and then he really like had his like takeoff. Mm-hmm. And
is he a Canadian guy?
No, he's I think he's from Pittsburgh, but yeah, he's kind of back and forth. But
Getter too, right?
Getter, I don't know if Getter's from Pittsburgh, but yeah, Getter.
No, TikTok.
Yeah, Getter was like
Vine.
Yeah, they had their whole like Thuddude thing.
Yeah,
so when I saw that, I was like, all right, this is the second coming.
Yeah, dude.
Get ready, get your holy water. Let's go. So it was kind of the second coming of that, it felt like. So I was like, I got to get in and like stay in because it is or will be a thing. And it was just like, so I was doing those, and then eventually found my voice a bit more within it rather than just replicating stuff. Was kind of like trying to do my own stuff, and which I think is good and bad because it's like, it's either, you know, you find a niche and you go, but that's a good way of isolating yourself, but it's also like you isolate yourself, you know?
What's the name of your gimp suit leather character again?
Wet Leather.
Wet Leather. So Will has this series on YouTube called Tortured Mind, where he's playing off of how people do like the YouTube versus, you know, what's better, this or that.
Marvel or DC, and then they like break it down. It's like the most boring video you've ever seen.
But it's that, and then it's always it makes him realize something about his own life, and it takes him down this other alleyway. But I had a character in there where Will mugs me one night as I'm for my fedora, and then I get home that night, and like my dad had died. I was going through the worst time of my life, and he made the worst thing happen on the worst day.
Right.
And I go into my dad's room and I find a leather gimp suit, and I'm like, holy shit, my dad was a superhero.
Yeah.
And I was going to put it on. My name was going to be Nightstick, and I was going to go around and be a vigilante. And then we're sitting on that day. We're like, oh, it's so funny. I'm scrolling through and I see one of your videos. I was like, motherfuck, god damn it.
Yeah, you know, yeah. No, that was actually.
So we resent you. And
Thank you.
We've come here
I get that a lot, actually. No, Wet Leather, that was essentially his origin story. The joke was that when I was a kid, I went under my parents' bed and I found this cardboard box with like 3 X's on it or whatever. And I found pictures of my dad with a bunch of other superheroes in leather. Oily. And I found the mask. I'm like, my dad's a superhero. And I've been trying to get it off the ground. There was like an animated series I had been pitching around. I've been trying to do like a show, whether it was like actually a bad superhero action sequence, like Bible Man. That's my huge thing I'm really into right now. This 2006 superhero live action show called Bible Man.
Never heard of it.
I have all the DVDs.
Explain it.
Oh, okay. Well, so there's a superhero named Bible Man, and they must have bought the set from the Power Rangers or something because they have money behind them because you know.
Okay.
And he fights sins,
like the deadly sins,
the embodiment of sin,
like gluttony.
Well, but it'll be like the Fibbler, and it's like he looks like the Joker with a long nose and orange face paint, and he fibs.
That's awesome.
And there's like the
He must be stopped.
the toxic tonic, and he's got like a mohawk, and you know he burps a lot, and but you can look it up on YouTube. But he battles them with lightsabers, and so I guess every villain also has to have a lightsaber. Mm-hmm. And while he's battling, he's like shooting Bible quotes at him. He's like, well, that's interesting, Fibbler, because did you know in John Luke 3, you know? And
Yeah.
Is this like, do you like it just because you can't believe that it ever got made?
that's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, like
You're just fascinated.
it seems like a fever dream, which
Yeah.
is something I always enjoy, where I'm like, what the shit? And then like I'm in for the ride of this, and like no one stopped to think about this on like a broad spectrum. They were
Yeah.
just like kids, superheroes, tights, go.
That is awesome.
So
Live action.
well, here's the thing. I have like the movie ones where it's like the Fibbler, but then I also have the Broadway live version where they do the live show presentation of Bible Man.
That's incredible.
But yeah, I've been trying to get Wet Leather off the ground.
I really hope you do.
Who knows? It's yeah, it's not a Disney thing, I don't think, but I'm open to it. You know, I'm open.
It's a Fox brand. Fox could take that.
So yeah, there was yeah. I don't know how much I want to go down the Wet Leather lore for everyone
Yeah.
to check out.
I just love it, dude. It's so fucking good.
It is great.
Yeah, that one just kind of fell into my head again. Like, I used to be a lot more character thing, and if I had one character idea, I would just run it into the ground. Like, be like, all right, this week I'm this character.
Yep.
But like, I never really viewed it as like people would be like, oh, this character, that character. I never really viewed it as like a character thing. It was kind of more just like I would morph a bit, and then it seemed like people started making their own lore of like, oh, this guy's living his life as this guy this week, and now he shifts, which is cool.
Oh, I like that. Like that you're some like crazy schizophrenic man or something.
We don't know yet, but you know, fingers crossed. The ideas will keep coming then.
The fan theories are there.
Yeah, which is great. But yeah, I don't know. There's I don't know.
You're also, your characters are the people that you're just fucking around with always have a style. Because
Right.
we wear the same shit every day.
Yeah.
And in every video, if you look through our Instagram feed, you can just see that I'm wearing I'm wearing this
It's
jacket.
just like two white guys in hats and
I can
jackets.
smell it.
Yeah.
I can smell it.
Did you start doing that right away, or?
I think it was a learning thing where I learned I had to visually pop. And also there was like, I'm showing you all my toolkit, but there was like questionable things where it was like not calling to attention everything. You know, like the odd video I would purposely put Bionicles in the background and never address
Right,
it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like, you know, I think that's a big separation for like people like really being like, look, where I was just like, this shit's, it's either that or it's laying on the floor.
Yeah, it's a great character detail is what it is.
Yeah,
at the
it's
end of the day.
building up the world, I guess. Yeah, I guess I'm more numb to it now for that kind of stuff. But I'm always on the hunt for something else. But a lot of times they're like, your manifestation guy. I'm like, I think that was just me doing. I think that was just me doing like I didn't know it was a full chapter in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
It was just kind of that. So
Yeah.
the characters are great inspiration out there. I mean, the last guy I had he's not a character, but you have your notepad of just things you see. And when was this guy? It was at one of those festivals. Now this guy's wearing a onesie Iron Man.
It's awesome.
Ill-fitted.
How
you know,
old?
tight in the ass, loose in the back. Right? Zipper done up halfway. He's wearing these kind of shoes with not Iron Man quality, and he's got one of those 3D printed masks that come down, squished in, like cheeks fully race car style, and he's walking around with one of those water tube bags, and he somehow made the whole festival about him in the sense that the mask we got there early and the mask ran out of AAA batteries. And so he's walking around and he's like, hey man, do you have any AAA batteries? And I was like, nah, I don't think you can get those here. And he was like, like my mask stopped working. I think the batteries ran out. Like festival, full day. He committed to only being Iron Man. And now the mask he probably paid $400 for on Etsy is completely kaput because he didn't bring extra like AAA batteries. And I'm like, all right, cool. I guess he'll just take it off or something. And then later on in the festival, I see this guy, like, again, talking to, like, a group of 16-year-old girls and be like, yeah, anyways, so do you guys got any AAA batteries?
That's awesome. I love that he probably bought the mask first and then realized his budget was way, way smaller than he thought.
I think it was that. It was a breathability issue because that thing was breathing in all the wrong spots. And I also think he probably just didn't know it ran on batteries. He thought it ran on like Wakanda metal or something. It just, this is an official vibranium.
I think the weirder character would be the guy that's like, yeah, I do. I have every battery you could ever need in the back of my car right now.
Yeah. Those guys don't get in very easy to the festival. But
That would be like a character we would do on this show. It's a homeless guy who doesn't want your money. He just wants batteries.
He just wants your time.
I want to talk to you. I'd like the battery out of your wristwatch. It's very important.
Do you guys remember, like, this is like 5 years ago at that big festival? I think it's in San Francisco. It's like a tech conference. What is it called? What's the big one? It's like tech and comedy.
Do they have a theme park?
I don't know. No theme park.
I've heard of Fringe Fest. It's not that.
No, it's a really big one. I'll remember. Emily, can you look it up? It's a big festival in San Francisco or LA. But they hired people. They hired homeless people. They were called homeless hotspots. And they give them backpacks with like Wi-Fi boosters and routers just to walk around.
So
and they got in massive, massive trouble for that.
Do they pay them?
Probably not well.
Give them some
They were
soup.
basically treating them like mules.
Give them some cold soup. I do that for cold soup, too.
Some cold lentil soup.
Yeah, but now what if they were wearing Iron Man suits?
Then they would just look like everyone else
Yeah,
at
you want to
Comic-Con.
charge up,
Yeah.
They'd smell like them too.
Taking a quick break to talk about Babbel.
¿Estás disfrutando de el podcast?
Thanks to Babbel, I know what that means. Do you?
Probably not.
Probably not, you idiot.
Fool.
But you won't be an idiot.
This summer, you can start speaking a new language with Babbel. Why Babbel? Because it works!
Instead of paying hundreds of dollars.
That's the
for
most
a
money
pro-
that
I
I've ever
know.
heard of.
And you don't have to use that much money when you use Babbel because it's cheaper and it's the easiest way to learn a new language online because it's designed by over 150 language experts. And you want to know what's interesting about Babbel, guys? I don't know
Yeah,
if you knew
I want to
before.
know.
They teach you conversational Spanish.
No way!
So that when you actually talk, it's not like, you're using a translator. It actually teaches you like the real lingo and the...
Oh, all right.
So you can blend in.
Yeah, people won't even question like, oh, where'd you learn Spanish? Oh, they will question it because they'll be so impressed by your skills.
And you'll say Babbel.
Right on.
Tell them where they can go.
You can go to babbel.com/Friday.
And that's BABBEL.com/Friday. Rules and restrictions apply.
And do you want to know what the deal is?
You have to say it right now or I'm going to lose my mind.
55% off your subscription.
That is ludicrous.
Can you believe?
No, I
This
can't.
is like only a special limited time, one-time deal, so you got to get it now. Go to babbel.com/Friday. And let's get back into the episode. I want to hear about this Iron Man. situation.
Right.
While you were gone, he said that he thinks Iron Man is taking over his life.
Oh, so I've always had a thing with like superheroes and Marvel, and like I was obsessed with X-Men. I would go see like X-Men movies as a kid and get depressed when I leave and be like, "Fuck, I want to be like a superhero. My life sucks." And so,
Story of Liam's life.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
yeah, you get it. It's I just want metal shit in me, but yeah. So
It's adamantium.
it's just. I think it's gonna be looking back and we're like, oh, this was like the He-Man of the time or whatever. Where it's just like, and we're like, man, He-Man was so good. You gotta ever see Ant-Man and the Wasp? That shit was tight. Took my wife there, but something like. So when I was a kid, I was in jazz band for like a week, and I like refused to play any other instrument than guitar. You know, I'm that guy. I have a guitar now. Okay. And so I didn't know how to read sheet music, as no one did when they were in grade 8 for guitar. You just wanted to learn one song. And so my jazz teacher, she went above and beyond, or whatever, the music teacher went above and beyond. And for the school production, we were doing I Am Iron Man, the band version, right? And so it was my big moment. She had like got me the book and like showed me the notes, and I was like, yeah, I kind of know the song already. It's fine. So it was built up, and so now the big night of the play show comes where all the parents come to watch the detuned, out of time instruments, and everyone's kind of wearing like basically this but black and like tucked in or squeezed in or dirty or something, and they all have hair gel. All the kids have to have hair gel. Rock hard, you know what I'm saying? All the girls have like the braids and the swirls kind of thing going. And the whole thing it was my big spotlight moment where the band was supposed to back me playing I Am Iron Man, or whatever the song is. Now, the problem with my tuner is there's a button on a guitar tuner where you can change, I think it's the hertz. So technically it's like 440 or 441 or something. And basically you can hit that button and it'll tune it a little bit higher, but say it's in tune. So it'll be like, this is the note E, but if E was over here. So I tuned my guitar not realizing I had hit those buttons. So there I am with my rock hard hair gel, shining in the sun. I got all the parents up front, kids running, slamming face first into the floorboard of the fucking gymnasium, hard knees into the wood. And so I'm nervous as shit. My pick's heavy, sweaty. We start playing, and I'm first, and then the band comes in, right? And then I'm like, I'm killing it. And then the band comes in, and they are all out of tune. And in my head, I was like, they're out of tune. I'm good. But I was completely out of tune. So now I had to play through this whole saga of a song completely out of tune, going, dun, dun, and everyone's like, I'm playing it wrong, but I was playing it right, just in a whole different key. And I thought I killed it. And I don't know if you've ever ridden in the backseat of a minivan where your dad's really quiet and your mom's just kind of like looking out the glass window a little bit. And you don't get the ice cream. But yeah, I thought I killed it. And then we went back to the classroom. That was always a vibe, going back to the classroom like after in the nighttime. And everyone brought their like toys or something. Like at the time we had like Warhammer or Beyblades. I was like, I've crushed it. And I'm like, rip it. And then like get back in the car. Still rock hard hair gel, so that was Iron Man, dude.
Who told you, like, hey, you messed up? Was it the teacher?
No.
How'd you find out?
I found out because, like, my brother was like, your guitar sounded completely out of tune the next day. And I was like, no, it's in tune. And then I realized only like a year or two later that there was a button that changed the tuning of it. Still to this day, I think the band was. Yeah. I went to an all boys Jesuit school for high school.
Oh, Jesuit. Okay, great.
Yeah, we were the chill ones or something. But
you were.
I'm not a religious family. It's just in Winnipeg there was only 2 schools that weren't public, and one of them was just religious, and it was cheaper. So that's why it ended up there.
There you go.
They had like a big I used to play football, and I was like, that was my thing before anything. I was like, I want to do football, and so yeah, that was. The all boys part, what they don't tell you is there's a lot of, you got to get used to the amount of shit in urinals at all boys schools.
Oh, well, we never had that.
Like,
Poop
what
in
do you
your-
mean, like poop in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poop.
Yeah, like,
Ian, you're like, why?
it's funny.
It is
funny.
pretty funny.
Oh, they're doing it to be funny.
The poop bandit,
They're-
dude.
Yeah.
But then there's a guy who's got to clean it up.
Yeah.
No, but that was a sad thing. You're like, you'd see some shit and someone like, and then you see this janitor like, and he's like, I should have gone to this school.
How does it make you feel that you did that to someone in a hotel?
I didn't do that.
It's-
You mean I pooped into a toilet?
And then
That's
you
different.
left it.
How's
I-
that different? They didn't have a plunger in there. What I'm supposed to do this walk
You
of
left-
shame to
you
go to the
left
front
someone-
desk?
You left someone to deal with your shit.
I'm creating
Literally.
jobs.
There's
Thank you.
There was a buddy of mine. I went to like not all boys, but a very small Catholic school growing up, and he would go into the bathroom. Now looking back on it, it's horrible because someone had to clean it up. But it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen at the time. This was probably third or fourth grade. He would take
Did some wall art.
he would take his pants completely off, and he would start peeing into the urinal, and then he would start backing up, and he would spin in a 360.
Oh, my
and
God.
just pee in a circle, and we'd
Sprinkler.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Crazy Daisy, dude.
And now he's just got a real job and shit.
Yeah, he's got a few DUIs.
He's the mayor.
I remember there was an older kid that was in the bathroom one time, and I was in there. And as he left, I just saw him go and turn all of the sinks on, and they were no motion, like old sinks, and he just left the water on.
Just taking wads of paper, shoving it anywhere.
Yeah, and I just remember asking him. I was so young. So it was first through eighth, and it was all in the same area. So it was. I could have been in second or third grade, and he could have been in eighth grade.
Right.
And I remember just asking, why are you doing that? And he said, because fuck the school's money, that's why. And he walked out, and I just thought, this is the coolest fucking kid.
He's gonna have such a good like smoking addiction. Oh yeah. It's gonna be. I remember my favorite was sometimes you'd just be like, how did you guys get scammed so bad? So at this school, they would have random presenters come in, and we would have no idea why. They'd be like, everyone, we're going to the gymnasium.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, who's here? Like the like some kind of government person who talks about like, you know, why you should vote or something that might seem important. I don't know. But like one time they gave us no context. Like the school clearly got scammed into buying someone's package of like a motivational speaker. And this person came in, nice guy, funny. He was like from Africa. He made it over to Canada. He like escaped like all the war and stuff, and like created like his own businesses and a family here. And like no one prepped us that he was like a motivational speaker. So at the very end, he's all like, so now that you've heard all that, just so you guys know, you can do anything you want. And I was like, yeah, we know. We go to private school. Like, read the fucking room. Like, I don't know. Like, that was, to me, always blew my mind. And I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but it just felt so, like, out of nowhere when they were just, like, this guy who just had... It wasn't like an inner city Winnipeg thing where there was people from the inner city
Right.
who actually, like, are at this school and being like, just so you know, the cycle doesn't have to repeat or any of that kind of nature.
Oh, yeah.
It was more like, I'm like, who's relating to this? I came from Africa, started up 4 lawn care businesses. I have 2 cars. And just so you know, you can also work at your dad's pool company if you want. Like, it was just like, it was just tone deaf on a whole different angle. And I was like, I can't believe my parents' money are paying for this. This is like, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
We had a similar one. This guy came through. Apparently, this was a big thing in the South. It was because I'm from Dallas, Texas. It was a yo-yo guy.
Oh,
This
we
guy,
had that
the
guy.
devil sticks guy?
I don't know, but it was like an anti-bullying thing.
Yeah.
And I was one of the 2 kids that got called up on stage to do the yo-yoing, and
Which
it did
makes
not.
you- yeah, it makes you
it did
bully.
not help with the
Yeah.
bullying. It actually was the source of the bullying.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was a lady who would come in, talk, and give you the drunk glasses to try and explain
Oh,
to
yeah.
you how much you get impaired. I have never been that drunk that my eyeballs
Yeah.
don't work,
No.
but well, to that capacity. But like, yeah, that was always fun. She'd be like, "See, who here could do this?" And then they would get the football team on, and they would put on the drunk glasses, and they would like be throwing threes perfectly. And I was like, "This is, yeah."
We had a. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, we also had another one that was like a drug scare one where they had like a fake car crash and they would like pull a thing, like a
Oh.
bomb would go off in the school, like light all the year banners on fire. And they would like play these videos of like, you know, here's what happens if like, here's how the party starts and here's how the party ends and that kind of thing. And then at the very end, was so funny because it was designed for like not an all boys Catholic school. Because at the very end we're all wearing suits, by the way, suit and ties, like boiling like frogs in this gymnasium. You know, the banners are on fire, and at the very end they like try and wrap it up in a bow by having this like very erotic male singer in skinny jeans who's kind of like the heartthrob emo guy at the time. He had like 1 or 2 radio hit singles. To like, all right, guys, I hope this helps. And he like like plays a song about like you know, we're never able to go back kind of thing. And every dude is like lame. And then there at the very end there'd be a couple guys who go up and get CDs, and they were all the theater kids or whatnot. And so it was just like this, like nothing is connecting here. Mm-hmm. You needed like a football guy to go in there and just be like, you know what? It's okay if guys like guys. And everyone at the school would be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad it came from him, though, not, you know, so.
Dude, we had, they would bring out 2 cars from a garage that were just completely totaled, set them up in front of the school.
Oh, yeah, the big play ones, and they're like, Jessica's dead, and then the ambulance comes, and the Grim Reaper comes out, his skirt blows up in the wind.
We did have the Grim Reaper.
That's crazy.
You should have had the Grim, it adds a bit of humor, but when you see the Grim Reaper come out with the Halloween costume tag on the back, because they got to return it after, and his size comes off, you're like, this Grim Reaper seems cool as hell.
Dude, I remember we had another bullying guy, like the yo-yo guy, who would come in and he would just paint things upside down. So he'd start the painting, and then he would flip it around, and then he'd grab the microphone and be like, when I was in 6th grade, I got bullied so hard I tried to kill myself. And we'd all be like, what the fuck? He's like,
are we supposed to clap for this?
And then he does another one, and we're like, it's Abraham Lincoln. And he'd be like, I ate my dad's pills. And we'd be like, holy shit, man. That's
Good thing I didn't kill myself, huh?
yeah. I'm so happy. Oh, and then this reminded me of the funniest talent show thing I'd ever seen. Every middle school has the Green Day cover band, of course.
Yeah, but just the drummer.
Just, we had, for some reason, they had a keyboardist up there, even though I don't even know if Green Day's really using a keyboard too often. But
the guitar setting, though.
Yeah. And it was 4 dudes, same school. So these kids were probably in 7th grade, and I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade. And I just remember being in the auditorium, and the guy said, hey, what's up? We're a Green Day cover band. And then they couldn't get any of their instruments to play. All the microphones were fucked up. So for around 15 minutes, they were on stage. It was, hey, we're a Green Day cover band, and then just like them holding wires and shit. And then I wish I was older because I could have appreciated it. In the moment, I felt so bad. But a Green Day cover band that just can't.
High school talent shows should be documented.
Yeah, they should all be filmed.
There was one in my elementary where the order should have gone like youngest to oldest or whatever, but there was like a dance mom who forced her like the younger kid who did gymnastics to go end as a headliner. And everyone was salty. Like they're like, we practice in my dad's shed for this shit, you know? And so at the very end, one of the teachers was supposed to like who actually could like play, or the piano teacher, and sing. He didn't get time to do it. And you could tell that like fucking hurt him. So as people were filing out, he had reset up in the hallway, and he was performing to them as they were leaving, which caused a backlog of people. And then it just became this really sad thing as I'm packing up like my Iron Man guitar, and I see this teacher in the hallway performing, and I have to face him the next day. There's so much beauty in the world.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to know more. So you played high school football too? Or
yeah, high school. I was really into football. But then there was at one point there was a bit of like college interest, but it was like Canadian. So I was a running back, and that was like my full thing. But then I had like 3 surgeries. I like blew up my shoulder, and then I blew up my knee, and then I broke my thumb. And then I was like, okay, maybe we should, I don't think this is a career. Let alone I can't hear at my left ear now. So
Was that from getting hit?
Well, it was more like, it was just concussions. I mean, not fully can't hear at my left ear, but then I pivoted to music because I was like, okay, at least my body can go to mush as it has and like do music. And then from there, it all kind of went for full circle because, comedy was just easier for me. And I think it's also one of those things. It's like the best and worst advice you can ever get is like, if you got to do something because you have to do it, you're going to be fine. like when I was doing music, I was so focused on like the next step of how to be like famous or like be a successful musician. And then the comedy stuff, I didn't even care about, like, I just wanted to do it. And then you find yourself in a more path. So like that was kind of like, I was like, okay, it took me a long time to realize that, even though people would always say it like that, or like, if you just have to do it, you'll be fine. And which is the worst advice, because then you're like, but what if I just want to be famous?
Yeah.
I just went to, that's why I asked if you've been to Vegas, because I went to Vegas the first time on Saturday to go to the UFC fights.
Right.
And I'm a UFC fan, but I've never been to a live UFC event. And it was the most electric concert, live sporting event, just the most electric event I've ever been to. Like, where not only the coolest thing I wasn't really preparing to see, because it's cool on TV, but it's way cooler in there, is the walkouts. Those, I got fucking goosebumps every time. And they also do walkouts for just celebrities. Like, they walk the Trump out the same tunnel that the fighters walk out.
Yes.
And that, I just remember being like, oh shit, I thought this was an intermission. There's a fight. And it was just, at first I saw Guy Fieri. Right. And I thought, that this is nuts. We're going to pop like this for Guy Fieri. And then it was just Trump behind him. And it was just other celebrities there. And it just was, everyone was just freaking out.
Okay, so I saw that photo of Shane Gillis shaking hands with Trump. Is that where that was?
Yeah, that was there.
Yeah.
I think they were on the other side.
I want them to fully commit. Like, I want them to have the gun range and the motorcycle jump over the ring.
Yeah.
And, like, ideally jets flying over top the whole time. Like, I want people to leave deaf and in a wheelchair. Everyone. And they paid for it, too.
Yeah.
That's my dream for those kind of events. There's something there when you, like, when you're so far in it. Like, that's one thing I always love watching, is just like when you write it down on paper, this is dumb.
Oh,
but
yeah.
when you're there, you're like, oh yeah, it should be louder.
Have you seen that video? I don't think it's Louis Theroux. It's another British journalist when he goes to the Alabama Auburn
Bean.
game. Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. Was it Mr. Bean?
It might be
the turkey one?
what's his fucking name? I can't remember. But it's like the way he describes it, it's like something we're so used to because we grew up with it, and like I went to a college where there were big games. But the way he describes it and unpacks it, it's like explaining it to an alien that we have, like, you know,
it's
7 fighter jets do a low flyover, and that's just like a 10-second thing they paid for.
No, that's kind of some of the approaches when I, like, again, from Canada, you have like an interesting perspective, and that's why they say a lot of Canadian comedians have interesting takes and do well, because they get it, but they don't get it. Like, they weren't raised on it, and they understand a certain culture stuff or whatever, but like they weren't raised in the full 4th of July hurrah and like the, you know, nationalistic kind of like big celebrations, or how big they were kind of vibe, or how much money's behind all those things. So it's like, because these things have just built up over time, right? And like, we don't get that, or we don't do the same extreme things, or it, like, I don't know, like Monster Truck still blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it comes over to Toronto, right? There's stuff like that, or even just like independent dirt rallies, or like the crash. What is that? Siri, look up the car crashes. Or like, what is when they just like dirt derby?
I know what you're talking
Demolition
about.
Derby or some shit.
Yeah, I think
There's
that's
a
right.
new one where I just saw this. It's brand new. Where I don't know where the fuck this is, but there's a giant cliff, and they don't have drivers in the cars, but there's just people sitting in.
It's just like Crash Bandicoot RC car.
I saw that,
and they just throw them over this cliff.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
most
it.
entertaining.
That's all it
Fucking
is.
Awesome.
Okay, and that's brought to you by
The NRA.
sponsor. Okay,
Sponsored by the
PBS.
NRA.
Yeah.
I want to see that new Sphere. The new.
I drove by it.
Is it cool?
Yeah.
I want to stay in a
I don't know if it's
hotel
on.
that faces a sphere, that, like, you know, your vacation, you got your lover there, you're ready to get going, and there's just this right in the window, a giant blinking eyeball. And you can't sleep. Your eyes are like swelling because it's so bright in your room, no matter how many fucking blinds you close.
Throw the Eye of Sauron on there.
Yeah, that's
Blast a floodlight into your hotel room.
What I liked about that eyeball thing, or the sphere, was one caption was like, "Move over, Dubai." There's a new player in town, and it was just like a basketball in like a pool.
Yeah.
Like, we got to make more animations. We got to put Rick and Morty on here somehow because this is already lame. Everyone's seen the basketball already. So, yeah, I'm excited for their gift shop. It's going to be just little keychains of eyeballs, something from like the 90s, like Goosebump Toy Story.
Taking a quick break to talk more about Factor. Factor is the best, man. Easy, ready to go, ready to eat meal kit. Can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. We got some. They're very delicious.
I did the chef's choice, and I got some very tasty meals sitting in my fridge. A couple already in my belly, and somewhere in the sewers, if you know what I mean.
I do.
not to be too crass, but let's just say I house those suckers because they're so damn tasty.
This has actually been super helpful for me because I'm really bad at bringing meals to work for lunch. So having these meal kits has been super helpful to having prepared meals so I don't have to spend all the money on the street.
In LA, nonetheless.
Yeah, right?
How freaking expensive it is to live in here at LA.
It's going to save you time, let me tell you that.
Liam, sometimes I come over to your house because you're late for work. And we have to do a wellness check on you, and I need to scrape you off the floor with a big spatula. And I find that when you're in these moods, you can't even cook for yourself, let alone clean yourself. With Factor, it saves you that just one extra step, that one extra challenge where you got to drag yourself across the floor like you're scaling a mountain to the kitchen and cook yourself a meal. Now you don't. Factor, you just go to your fridge, ding, pop it in, beep, beep.
So where'd they go, Will?
In your tummy.
Where do they go to get this delicious treat?
Oh, I don't know. Head to factormeals.com/almostfriday50, that's 50, and use the code almostfriday50 to get 50% off.
That's one heck of a deal.
What? You mean the code almostfriday50 at factormeals.com/almostfriday50 to get 50% off? Yeah, I would say that's one hell of a deal, Emily.
And let's get back into the episode.
Nope, never been to Las Vegas. I don't really know. I don't gamble really.
Don't go.
I don't have money to gamble, but I also am like I'm not a gambling person. I think I would like to go there in theory for the chaos, but also like every place I go, I don't like chaos that seems dangerous. I just like chaos where, or maybe it's just because I'm not like, everything could feel dangerous if you haven't been there enough. You know what I mean? Like, not that Las Vegas is, but like, whenever I see like people who seem aggressive, I just always assume the worst. Mm-hmm. But like, if you come to Toronto, you're going to see the exact same stuff. But I'm like, no, that's John. He just wants chocolate milk at 7-Eleven. He's not going to do anything to you, though. But yeah, I don't know. Have you guys been to Canada?
No, I think we want to go one day. Take this whole Almost Friday company.
Right.
Take a lot of the guys out.
I still got to get a passport. I'm working on that.
Yeah, no,
I've been to like
one day.
Vancouver before.
Yeah, that's like that's a different beast. I've only been there like twice, but I usually tell like Toronto's always a great spot to go just because it's like you can walk around. You don't need a car, and like I don't know. My take on it's kind of like a LA mixed with New York in some elements. That's my elevator pitch. If you want to buy it, Toronto's for sale. But yeah.
You a hockey guy?
No, I played it. I thought I was really good at hockey when I was a kid, but I lived in Australia, so I was competing against kids who had never skated before.
Wait, when did you live in Australia?
When I was 5 till 8. I had an Australian accent at one point, and then lost it when I came back, and which is why I'm blaming the lisp, because I swear I didn't have that beforehand, and then something went kaput, so my brain shut down. And yeah, so I thought I was really good at hockey when I was out there, but I was like playing against like people who were from Japan who just moved here and never played hockey before. And like there is no rinks out there. Like the rinks are like the mall rinks where you just see people like hovering like this, falling on their shins. And so when I went back to Canada, everyone was like miles ahead, and I didn't really care. My dad played hockey a lot, kind of thing, but I didn't.
I went to one hockey practice and I fell and my helmet wasn't strapped on properly, so I had to get like staples on the back of my head.
Yeah, no,
sports.
Hockey's actually probably the most dangerous sport I've seen play because you like really wreck your neck if you get hit and then into the boards. And I saw a guy take a puck to the head. Yeah, it was beer league, and like it was a slap shot that went off into the where people were sitting, and the puck hit this, and his whole front row of teeth had folded back
Oh my god.
into. So he opened his mouth, and you just saw like
Gum.
nothing, and like everything had like it was. And I was like, I learned in that moment like there's like a fight or flight. Man, I'm flying. And I was coach at the time. I was shooting like this was the first movie I ever made was called The Documentary, which was like it was a mockumentary about what if the Mighty Ducks got older, and they were just like really shitty, like we're getting drunk and the whole that kind of vibe, you know, party vibe, and it was basically by a documentary rather than a mockumentary, and I was following this beer league, and our whole goal was to get into the junior minor C, which is a made-up league, because the league was shrinking, and we had to win 50% of our games. We didn't have to get to playoffs. We just had to win 50% of our games. And we got there. And so that was the whole premise of that. But, yeah, no, I don't know. Sports are lame. Give me entertainment right in the veins, you know. I want to be that old Hollywood entertainment manager who's just like, nah, this kid's he's not a star. You know, you don't have what it takes.
In his career.
Yeah.
Not gonna make it. I want people to be. I want to be known more for my breathing style than what I've done. You know, I'm getting there. So,
Yeah. All right, Liam. Let's do some characters. You want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. All right. So we're all playing ourselves in this,
Okay,
but
great.
we're in 5th grade and it's Valentine's Day, and I'm just handing out some cards I made. So.
Okay.
I'll do the Chinese accent.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
5th grade, Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So
For you, Graham. For me. Oh, yep. Hand that over.
Oh, they're warm.
read it, and we can.
Did I get?
Yeah.
Am I?
I just want to make sure you.
You are a rad friend, and you're not a. And you are a cool guy.
Yep.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Well, this is for you.
If I get some candy, is that it? There's a fire inside me that you started. I can taste the flames and they taste like blood. It's almost time for you to see the real me. I want to show you who I am. When we die, I want to be buried next to you. I want to lay next to your bones forever. Our bones connecting like pieces of a puzzle. It's almost time to show you. Can you hear the worms? Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you hear them? Can you? Can you? Can you?
And then
What's the drawing here with
I ran out of gummy bears, but here's some lentil soup.
I didn't get a drawing in mind.
No, sorry.
what is the drawing? Okay.
If you get home, if you want to cut your hand, put a little bit of blood around that circle.
Oh, okay.
They actually sell those stock cards at Walgreens now.
Yeah, that's where I found. I kind of just signed my name. So
Okay.
I got that one from my. There's a boys and girls Valentine's one.
Uh-huh.
That one's for the boys.
Okay, I was wondering because I think I got a very similar one earlier today in a different classroom.
it was just like under like boys sports Valentine's Day.
Yeah, there's Baby Yoda's on the back of that.
Yeah.
And this?
I know your family's going through a really, really hard time financially.
Okay.
So that could probably feed all of you for like. I
Maybe
still.
not
I
in
don't-
front of Graham. Don't
yeah,
wanna talk about
I just. We were talking about it. I don't know why your parents would have that many children if they know they couldn't financially support a family of that size. But I guess that's just white trash people do that. They have a bunch of kids, even though.
You do have a lot of cars parked out in your house that don't move, which
Yeah, a lot of flat tires.
maybe get rid of one of those or something.
Yeah.
You know.
And you,
Best Valentine's Day ever.
okay.
And you don't have anything for
Do you have
maybe a car or something?
No, I didn't bring any. I don't have anything. I didn't know. Which I give him.
I thought you said you had something in your wallet for him.
like $20 or something?
I don't have anything for you. Maybe I could put the blood in. Would that be?
That would be great.
That could be my Valentine's Day gift
Yeah.
to you.
I just want to roll around your bones. So
Okay.
I don't know.
We can make
You're a
that
good
happen.
guy. All right, and that's that. That's that bit.
What was his name?
Oh, fuck, my guy?
Well, I guess we were all ourselves.
Yeah, I guess that was myself. But if you want to throw it on there.
I enjoyed this. I almost enjoyed this part more. About my family being poor.
You should crack it open.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I wanted.
You're going to eat that cold. You're probably so fucking hungry.
It looks like we're all eating the gifts we received here, so you might want to.
Just take a little sip of it. Yeah.
The good stuff.
It's offensive if you don't.
Ooh, kind of stinky.
Well,
The good stuff's on the bottom. The top, you gotta give it a swirl.
yeah.
It's like a margarita, but beans.
Here, I'll leave that there.
Cool.
Proud sponsor.
That's cool.
Okay, here's
I like how they show it in a mug. Like that really depicts who's coming to buy these beans.
Have you ever seen the movie Mud with Matthew McConaughey?
No,
Oh, well, he lives on an island and he's really poor
right?
because he murdered a guy. He's living on an island hiding, and these kids start bringing him supplies, and they bring him just cans of soup, and he's so hungry every time that he just like immediately starts eating these like cold cans of beans, and we'll show a clip of him eating Matthew McConaughey, and that's how I pictured you eating
Whoa.
them.
All right, well, here's my character. His name is...
Making it up on the spot.
Reggie Stopwatch.
Wow, pretty good.
He just came up with that.
He's a pimp or something.
No, okay, so this is a sort of therapy session. I'm doing a guided meditation for you guys.
Okay.
We're in a classroom, and we are, we just finished up yoga, and now we're doing a meditation session.
Cool.
Okay. All right, guys. That was great. Everyone feel good?
Yeah. Oh,
God, it feels good. Kind of stretch the mind out. How to stretch the body out. Now that we've stretched the body out, now we stretch the mind. So I want everyone to lay down, and let's put on some music, and we'll just listen here.
Go ahead and get into a comfortable position, and in about 5 seconds we're going to shut our eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close those eyes. Focus on your breathing. Focus on the buzzing of your fingertips, the air around you, how it feels on your skin, and relax. Now, Liam, go ahead and grab your tits as hard as you can and press them together really hard. Go ahead and squeeze them. Good. Squeeze them a little harder than that. Okay, now go ahead and try to lick your nipples. You won't be able to, but try to crane your neck as far forward as possible. Try to lick them. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Now, Graeme, go ahead and hike up your shorts or your pants and just let the tip of your penis fall out, sort of poking out of the cuff of your leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Now go ahead and grab your penis just by the tip and pull it as hard as you can, as far as you can,
Yep.
as hard as humanly possible. Try to tuck it into your sock. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Okay, open your eyes.
How do we feel, guys?
really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting how the world dissolves around you when you meditate.
Yeah. Was that your hands?
That was.
Okay.
Okay, that was Reggie Stopwatch.
That was great. That was great. You know, it's weird. I actually feel like a little bit relaxed.
What's the music?
Yeah. That was excellent.
Thanks. This is a fun one.
Reggie Stopwatch.
That was really
I really grabbed the shit out of my tits, too. I was going to be sore.
Well, I was wondering if you guys would actually follow along.
I went to grab it. I realized my shit was all bunched up because I've been like doing the slide thing.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, all right, let's be honest now. And I like had to wipe from under. So
You fully went to lick your nipple.
I think I could.
You were doing it.
I think
Didn't question it.
I think I could. I do have tits, so I probably could. Mm-hmm. It's not like crazy.
I do like how everyone's tried to lick their own nipple. Like, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never even tried to
I
suck
have
my own
not.
dick.
Yeah, you have. Shut up.
I know I can't.
I know I can't.
I don't have a memory of me trying to suck my own dick.
I've never.
Do you know these men have never taken a photo of their own penis?
Stop saying that like it's crazy.
I've been in relationships my whole time, and like we lived together, so I haven't.
Amen, dude. She's
never, like,
gaslighting us.
You've never even just like taken one, like just cause.
I think I for sure pulled out the camera and go to take a picture, and then in my head I'm like, this is somehow just gonna auto go to my Instagram.
Yeah,
I have this fear that it's gonna go to like all my socials or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna forget that I'm like live streaming or something like that. But I like there was never I'd never used Tinder or any of that stuff.
Like you never even had. You guys have never even had like a pimple or something down there that you just wanna look at.
Why am I? Who am I going to show a picture of my penis to if it has a pimple on it?
What if you just want to see it yourself?
just look at it.
Look at it.
I really have.
What if you can't see without like taking a
mirror?
photo? What if you can't get the angle?
Then I'll just then the pimple's there, and I'll figure it out later.
If someone ever asked me for a dick pic, which was rare, I would have one of my friends had a big dick, and he would stunt cock for the pictures.
Yeah, I was on tour with this magician one time, and they had a tour manager, and that was what he said. He was like, I'll just go on Google.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Get a black.
I was like,
penis.
you're cheating. I was like, oh wait, no, he just invented the game. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would literally just text my buddy.
Seen a photo of that one guy who's like on the edge of the bed. You know,
the huge
the
black fellow.
literal horse penis going to his ankles. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the big black.
I know what you're talking about.
He's dead.
R.I.P.
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 R.I.P. to the goat. Do you have any others?
That's kind of all I got.
There was one character I've been working on, but I don't think it would work for a thing. It was a realtor who just loved to upsell houses, being like, rather than telling you this would be great for a baby, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? But it would be like, this would be a great junk room. I can tell you guys got a lot of junk. And anyways, let's carry on. Okay, let's check out this room. Now, you see these drawers? So much junk could go in there.
That's great.
So much space for your junk.
Yeah.
And then later on you realize he's actually just living there. And he's got his own junk room above. And
You can put a laundry basket full of wires right here.
yeah, this is, I mean, you could bring this to Goodwill, but you might have to come back and buy it in a year or two. You never know when you need an ornate doll, you know, or some loose MacBook cables from 2012, you know. That's money. I don't have the effort to sell it, but I'll buy a new house so I can have some space for it.
That's a great character. You
That's
gotta make
money.
that
Just
video.
keep pointing at different junk. That's money. Money.
Right here, think of how many plastic bags could fit right here, you know?
Think about how many dead bodies can fit in this attic.
If you remove the drywall, you get double the space for the junk. And actually, it works for the insulation as well, as you know, because, anyways, you'll get it. But yeah,
I like that a lot. I have something too that I was trying to do on this, but I don't think it's going to work because I was, the whole Ja Morant fiasco keeps going on Instagram Live with a gun.
The basketball player.
Oh, I've seen there's something, but again, I don't know any names in sports.
He's a really good young player, and he went live on Instagram holding a gun twice.
I saw. Isn't there something with like strip club photos as well or something?
Yeah.
That too.
Okay. Yeah.
Same night.
Yeah, we talked about it on the Che episode actually, and I was thinking about how it's cool that he goes on Instagram Live with a gun, and everyone's like, "Stop trying to be a gangster." Because I was just thinking, if I went on Instagram Live trying to flex a gun, all the comments would be like, "Don't do it, Liam. World needs you, bro." Like everyone would think I was going to kill myself. So it's like a kid who's just like trying to look pretty gangster with a gun, and all of his Instagram Live comments are like, "We need you, Charlie, bro. Don't do this to your mom and dad." Like he's like, "I'm not killing myself. I'm fucking. If you fuck with me, your dad." They're like, "Don't do it,
That's
man."
really good.
That could be a good like sketch.
Yeah, you should
maybe
make
it's
that. I
maybe
don't.
it's just a sketch.
Yeah. Not
I
fun.
feel like being a white dude with a gun on Instagram has a lot different of a vibe nowadays than it used to be.
Yeah, way more worrisome.
Yeah,
It's also like, you can't, like, a handgun, maybe you could be like, all right, maybe this guy's cool. If you're at all, anything with a scope is not going to, any type of rifle, buttstock, no.
If it has any attachments.
Yeah.
What about, you think Chet Hanks could pull off gun on Instagram Live?
Yeah. Because he's cool as fuck looking. Like he's
Yeah.
He should get sponsored by those gel blaster guns, the ones that shoot the meltable BBs or something. Oh man, I get a Chet Uzi with a gel blaster. Oh, have his like tattoos on the gun too. Or something. Yeah. Tomahawk, call it something like that. I don't know. I'm spitball. We'll talk later.
We'll chit chat.
Chill, we'll reach out.
Yeah. Dang.
I would love to pick his brain.
He seems like genuinely a nice dude in every interview I hear him in.
Probably. I'm just sure that like once the cameras are on, they just cut around they cut to the stuff that makes him look like he stinks.
Yeah.
I mean, what I found so funny was people loving the. Did he do like Jamaican accent, like patois or something? Was that
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't know
like,
what that was.
Everyone was like, "That's haha" or something like that's. But like, you come to Toronto, it's everyone does the Jamaican accent. Like if you're like the Toronto mans, the meme of Toronto or whatever, and like there's this one neighborhood called Brampton that like really accentuates that element of being from Toronto with that accent, but it's actually got a very big population from like India and whatnot. So you'll see like brown kids running around with Jamaican accents, like Indian people. Yeah, it's like I was like, where the fuck am I? Like, it's not adding up.
Can I find footage of this online? Because I'd love to feast my eyes on
Yeah, I mean, world stars out there. There's, yeah, it's well, that's like the Jamaican. I mean, the Toronto accent, the Drake voice of like where you kind of get a little hint of Bodmonting every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Walk up to a bartender with full neck tats, kind of a white dude, being like, "Wagwan, my man." You'll be like, okay, Modelo, I think. Yeah. So, I don't know.
That is, I had no fucking idea that's where that came from. I just always figured Drake was just like, I love going to fucking Jamaica, dude.
Yeah.
Well, no, it is Jamaica, but he's.
I didn't know there was any of that accent floating around at all.
No, well, it's not from that city. It's just everyone's adopted that to be their like the identity of Toronto.
That's so interesting.
I went to Jamaica, and when they weren't around, I heard them talking in normal accents. So I think it's all made up. I think it's to trick us.
What does bumbleclop mean?
No.
Oh,
Classic white guy
I used to
question.
I used to work at a blind restaurant, and I used to ask this server who was Jamaican all these questions.
Do you say blind?
Yeah, so it's a restaurant you eat in the dark.
What?
So they have them in a couple cities, but like the servers wear like night vision goggles. The one I was at, because you eat in the dark. It's
Like
not
pitch black.
It's your eyes don't adjust because you're like essentially in a base.
What idea is that?
Well,
Why is that a good one?
Don't judge it just yet. Let's
it's it's a roll of the dice. Yeah. It's not every McDonald's is great.
Well, but what I'm thinking about is like, don't you hate when you don't know, like, can't see what you're eating?
Well,
I've never
this
had that
one.
experience.
All right,
yeah.
this one was an insane
Like
one.
when you're like in the car or whatever, and you're going through a drive-through, and don't you want to like sometimes turn on the light really quick, like?
People would do that.
We'll come back to that. Go on.
Well, okay, so the more upscale ones, they have like night vision goggles, and it's fully black. Your eyes don't adjust because there's no light for your eye to adjust to, right? So if you're in like a dimly lit place, your eyes will adjust. But when there's no light, you see like swirls, you like get vertigo because your body has no frame of reference of where it is.
In the cheaper ones, they just use echolocation.
Yeah,
The
they
waiters.
just have squids in the corner of the room that wiggle. But no, so this one, oh God. This one had blind servers, so it had a bit more of a moral story behind it, where it was like we're giving an opportunity to people who would not be able to serve in an industry, right? So they were able to navigate completely in the dark, and I would be in there sometimes, like getting the dishes, knowing how to navigate in the dark, whatever. And so, but what they don't tell you is, the owner basically ran this thing into the ground. He was just like shuffling money from one business to another. If they turned on the lights in those rooms, it looks like the set of Saw. It was just street furniture. None of the cutlery matched. None of the food looked good. The proportions were all over across the map. the floor was insanely sticky. It literally was like it felt third world like insanity. Like the tables were like this half the time. Because, like, that didn't matter. And the food was just, like, mashed potatoes and, like, very average food. Mm-hmm. But it was just the idea you didn't know what you were getting or you didn't know how to eat in the dark. And so, yeah, it was a shit show, but they kept covering it up, being like, well, now you know how blind people eat.
Yeah.
You know? And my favorite was one time, well, there was so many things that happened there, but a pigeon got loose in there one time.
That is awesome.
And so, like, it got into the vents because it was underneath this hotel. It got into the vents. And
Why is everything in Toronto in a basement?
It's just like a New York style element where there's just a shortage of space, so everything has to crawl under the ground. And so, like, the bird got into the vents, and while we're serving, you just hear, but violently flapping through.
Has no idea where to go.
No, it is blind as well. It's in for the experience, and it at one point it was there for a week, and then it just stopped moving. We're like, oh, it's good. We're gonna have to find it now. And yeah,
That is a bummer.
People
Also-
getting drunk in there?
oh yeah, all the time. And like people would always propose there, and I was like, well, because it seems romantic. Because you'd be like, it's in the dark. I'll surprise her with a ring, but like they're literally surrounded by a pile of old mashed potatoes. And yeah. There was this one server. There's these two really tall dudes, and so I'd have to like hand the plate to them like this, and you would have to do it in such a unique manner because they couldn't see what it was. So you'd be like, "Hey, Dave, I got plate 37 with potatoes and plate 32 with broccoli." I'd be like, "Thank you," and then he'd like grab it and then do his thing. One time his back was turned to me and I was like, "Hey Dave, I got cake with ice cream here." And he like turns and his hand goes right into the cake kind of thing. And he's like, "Where's the ice cream?" And then he just like left and like, I don't know. There was also one dude who was like Jehovah's Witness or something. And he was religiously not allowed to sing someone happy birthday because they don't believe in aging.
Yeah.
So religiously, they're not allowed to sing happy birthday. I'm like,
What?
If your job is a server and you have to be like, I need someone to come in and sing happy birthday to Amanda.
So many questions about that.
Yeah. There's
Even if you don't believe in aging, like, why can't you celebrate someone's transition into another, into just celebration?
I mean, you're talking about a guy whose paycheck went directly to the church. So there's a lot of logic gaps in this man, and that was probably the least of his worries.
Dude, this is the grossest thing I've ever seen in a restaurant. I worked at a hibachi restaurant for 2 weeks in high school, and I was washing
2 weeks, yeah, that's pause.
Yeah, immediately quit. But
Holds up his hand, missing a finger.
It's just always weird shit going on, and they just did not pay me. But I was doing the like forks and knives and shit, washing those, and I was working next to this kid I went to high school with, and I was looking at this, and nobody in there except for maybe one other dude speaks English. Nobody speaks English. And there was this green slime on this fork that I couldn't identify. I'd never seen anything like it.
Mystery slime.
And I was
Like
holding
Mars mud, kind of.
Yeah. I was like holding it up, showing it to my friend, being like, "What the fuck is this?" And not kidding, a dude server that didn't speak any English sees that, grabs it out of my hand, puts it into a birthday cake, and walks out of the room. And I went like,
Nice.
And then they just went away.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm so sorry. But
Yeah. Same restaurant, the blind one, people would just puke in cups and leave them in the corner of the rooms, and we wouldn't find it for a week.
they would get
Were they
just
getting
that
too fucked up?
Yeah, and like, there's nowhere you can puke, so you puke into a cup.
Go ahead. What? What do you mean?
Like
You
at a bar.
puked into a cup and just left it?
Yeah, well, I'll try to throw it out. But like one time I was at a bar, like when
Can I get this to go, please?
I was at a bar in New Orleans, and this guy was like, we're doing shots. And I was like, I don't do shots. Like the second I do a shot, I throw it right back up. Like every time, like no matter what. He's like, no, this one's going to be fine. It's like lemon drop.
Should we do shots, guys?
And he was like, nope, you got this. Trust me, you got this. I go, okay, well, like if I'm going to throw up, like cup your hands. And he's like, yeah, you're fine. Take the shot. I'm ready to throw up. I try to like book it to the bathroom. I wasn't going to make it. I turn around, like just grab the nearest cup, throw up in the cup. And
But there's always more throw up than cup space. Generally,
Yeah.
right?
And
I've actually done that twice. I did that here once at
Are you telling me you threw up once and you were done?
No, like I'll 2 cups. But yeah,
How'd you not get kicked out?
I'm good at like because
New
I know
Orleans.
that it's happening, so I'm good at like hiding it.
I know the
And
bartender.
my friends were like there to see it, so they like hid me type of thing.
I know the bartender. He likes to buy it and he resells it to some of the guys that come in a little bit later.
Makes me come watch him dump it all over
Yeah,
himself.
there's always more than can fill in the cup, which
Right.
is always not fun. So then you got to find another cup or
I don't think I've ever puked at a bar.
what?
Me neither.
Yeah. I mean, usually,
Never puked
Maybe,
at a bar?
maybe we have, we just don't know.
that's true. That's probably, hey,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say. As you know, one of our favorite sponsors is BetMGM. I went to Vegas this weekend to watch the UFC fights.
You did, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I was using BetMGM and I made a lot of money. If you go to BetMGM and use promo code BEERS, you can get up to $1,000 risk-free bet on your first bet. Great deal. We can't tell you how insane it is, but it is. You can tell. That's BetMGM. Go to their app. Use promo code BEERS for up to $1,000 risk-free bet on your first bet. It's insane. Just make sure you're doing it in a state where sports betting is legalized. You got to be 21 years of age or older. And if you do have a little of any issues addiction-wise, there are resources available to you to help you out with that. So thank you again to BetMGM. Be responsible, guys, but use this deal. Use the code.
And let's get back into the episode.
Trying to think of other funny places. I used to work at a balloon store.
That's incredible.
It was like a party store kind of thing, but like, helium balloons. I was the captain of the balloons. And one time, Halloween was ramping right up. Minions were a big thing then. At that
Yes.
point. Bigger than, they had their moment. And this lady was buying up all the Minion body paint. And so, like, all the blue, all the yellow, the white. I was like, she got some of the party hats. I'm like, I was like, how many, like, we were taught to ask them questions about their party. I was like, how many people you got? This is a lot of body paint. Like, and she was like, oh, no, this is for the horse. She made a Minion horse. And at that point, I just kind of froze. I was like, yeah, all right, that checks out. I was like, we got more in the back if you need it kind of thing.
That's awesome.
There was a lot of odd party stuff people were doing. Trying to go back. Oh, there was a great one. It was like an Avengers Hulk movie or something happened. Kid came in, like full body green paint, shorts kind of thing. And the movie theater was across the street. So the dad was coming in to get more green paint because he wanted to fuck up the theater seats even more, so he could get the backside. So they came in and they bought some more green paint. And then as they left, I locked the doors. It was 9 o'clock. They were going off to the movie. And in Winnipeg, they have giant parking lots. So they had parked at the other end of the parking lot for some reason.
Oh.
Halfway down the parking lot, flash rains. And rather than run to their white truck, they try and run indoors to the store. But I had already locked the door. And I was like, it's closing time. And it was like a horror movie, like Green Smudge Man. This little green smudge man was on the doors. And the dad was like, let us in. And it's just this guy like melting on the thing. And then he had to like soggy butt walk all the way to the white truck. And then the next day I had to open, and there was just like this body print on
That's
the front.
so funny.
Yeah, there was. I used to work at a Dairy Queen. You guys got Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah, love Dairy Queen.
So
Most underrated fast food burger, in my opinion,
Really?
is a
I don't
Dairy
think I've
Queen.
ever
They didn't trust me with the ice cream, so I got the food, and well, that's their moneymaker, Yeah. You put the girls there in their leggings that are covered in cat hair. They're the ones that are going to get the money.
Is Dairy Queen where they do the thing with the ice cream?
Yeah, the Blizzard thing.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that's right before you do it. But so I was doing the burgers and fries, and it was just like a really slow day. And it was my first job I ever worked, and we're like, you can deep fry ice cream, right? And I was like, yeah. But like we didn't understand it had to be at a certain temperature, and there had to be breading. It couldn't just be a ball of ice cream. And so we had just changed the oil. Which was a long process to like change the oil out of the deep fryer. And me and my friend, got our Dairy Queen polo popped collar kind of thing, looking at it with our hat. And I just imagine we put a ball of ice cream in the deep fryer, like slowly as if it's going to come out crispy like a McChicken or something. And we just see this perfect fresh oil turn into like yogurt. It was just like, we were like, ah. And then we had to explain that ice cream somehow fell like that far into the deep fryer.
Was your DQ manager chill or no? Could go either way.
She just, you know what? Good on her for running a Dairy Queen that long. But no, she would hire people who were like never had a job before, so she was only like, which was great. She was given like, you know, high school kids opportunities. But then you look at it from an older perspective, and you're like, oh, maybe that was just like they didn't know what labor laws were or anything. Yeah. And like, I don't know, she was nice. Yeah, when she hired me, she was like, so why do you want this job? I was like, fuck, you got me. Like, I had no idea what to say because she wanted people who were like excited to, like, I'm saving up money. I want to get a car. I want to do this. And I just said, music. Hoping that would, and it actually ended. She was like, okay, yeah, I like music too. All right, let's move on. She probably thought I had a touch of the tiz or something. And was just like, this guy's cool. Put him by the grill.
Caught my buddy eating alone one time at a Dairy Q. We were leaving somewhere and we're like, let's go get fucking ice cream. Like smoking, there's a bunch of us. Like going through the drive-thru and we could see the window, like into the Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
That's a lovely sight. There's this funny story of 40, like Drake's producer homie or whatever. People would just see him eating alone at like a Moxie's bar and grill in like sweatpants. And who knows how true this is, but I believe it. And I'm spreading the lies. So, yeah. Anytime, yeah.
Feed the machine.
I hope someone spots me doing that. You know what I mean? Like, but it's also got like one sparkly birthday candle, even more, and like a couple seats clearly pre-made.
You made all the employees sing to you, even though it's just you.
Yeah, and I was like, "Is everyone here a Jehovah's Witness?" What the fuck? Yeah. Have you worked anywhere?
I never worked in the restaurant business.
No. It's. I think. I mean, I sound like an old man saying it, but I think everyone should do it once to like understand the like behavior to like servers. And here's the thing.
I was just gonna say that I completely.
I have never, even when a server is like horrible to me or like the service is terrible, I've never treated them poorly, and I always tip. So I feel like I don't need. Some people do need that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We had this waitress that was like unannounced and hadn't spoken to her yet. It was just super rude to Will and I. And for like 2 minutes, we were like, man, fuck her. What the fuck was that? And then we were driving away and we were like, yeah, she's probably just having like a really shitty day. It probably sucks.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, it's definitely not us at all. I think she's just having.
Yeah, there was a point when we would do the serving at the blind restaurant. Like, we would serve like 200 people at a time. So it'd be like 100 and then 200 people. Like it was like buffet style, like in and out style stuff. And people would be like trying to crack jokes or trying to like reorganize it for themselves. And I was just like covered in dishwasher soap. Being like, yeah, the red we have is warm. And,
it's a 2023.
It's a yeah, it came from down the street, the lick bow. So yeah. No, I'm trying to think. I remember I used to not tip when I was young, you know, because like I always worked like shitty job. I painted houses.
Me too.
And so like it was one of those things where it was like my friend would just deliver pizza. And like he was making so much money, he just had like a better job or whatever. So I would be like doing 14-hour days in the sun. You know, you're getting paid decent or whatever, but like I never felt like I would see like a server be like, "How you guys doing?" Drop a menu down. I'd order a burger and then come back and be like, "Here's your bill." And I was like, like because in Canada servers actually still get paid minimum wage, so they get minimum wage plus tip. Where here, I obviously feel more for bartenders and servers because they have their like lower wage, right?
Yeah, it's fucking lawless. It's gotten so bad in the last year. It's insane. Everything will have like a tip menu.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the craziest thing is in Toronto. Toronto's just as bad for that, and like it'll start at 25%, and you have to like hack their system to somehow make it back down to 15
you have
or
to,
something.
Like custom tip and
and then be like, I canceled my order. Can you please put my order back through? But I went to a grocery store that had a tip option.
Really?
A self-serve grocery store. It was like I don't want to say boutique-y one. I guess it is, but it just wasn't like. It was like, yeah, it would be like a storefront, but it was like it was a grocer.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucked up so many people's houses when I was painting houses because I didn't give a shit. And I was like, if I can get away with this looking good and I know it's fucked, then
Yeah,
it's-
you're
it's
in the
fine.
car being like, it looks good. All right.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. But like now, I mean, this was a long time ago now, but I'll go home when I'm home and I'll just purposely drive through some neighborhoods where I know I painted a house. And I've gone through one or two, and it looks like dog shit. And I'm like, oh my God. And
We had like this one paint job that was just like, they had too big of a house, this like old lady, widow kind of vibe, but kind of kooky. And she kept just turning us into handyman. She'd be like, actually, can you come take a look at this thing? And there was like, she was like, it's very drafty in here. And I was like, yeah, the window's open kind of vibe. And she was like, here, I got some of this. And she's balled up tinfoil. And she was like, there's a couple holes around here. Can you, that's where the drafts are getting in. And she got us to just stuff her walls with tinfoil. Yeah, it was, and then she got us to build her a fence that ended up blowing over like a week later. Like it was just,
That's awesome.
she just also wanted to talk because at one point she wanted us to paint her cabinets, which we started doing. And then she would be like, I was at a Bible class yesterday, and there was something really interesting I heard, and I was like, oh no, this is how, and it was like 9 a.m. I was like, we just started, and she's like, 1 second, let me get my book, and then she like left and came back, and she was like, see what they said right here about the fish in the oceans, I thought was really relatable to everyone. I was like, yeah, that's good, because we needed our fucking 5-star review or whatever, and she just started talking to us about the Bible for about 3 days straight. It sounds more hornier than it was, but because it was just like 3 19-year-old dudes basically shirtless painting this old woman's kitchen while they're in like essentially jean shorts. And she's like, yeah, Jesus is really into that one. Well, don't forget that spot right there. And
one time my buddy showed up really fucked up, and I didn't know that he was. So he was late, and I kept calling him. I kept being like, where the fuck are you? He's like, I'll be right there. And I was like, something's wrong here. And I was on one ladder, and he just immediately grabs the tallest ladder we have, puts it to the highest point of this place, and starts going up it. And as he's going up the ladder,
pro move.
He's not climbing it normally. He's
The ladder starts going into the dirt.
and he just, as he's going up there, I'm like, there's no way. It's 10 a.m. But I was like, there's no way he's fucked up. And he just grabs the top of the ladder, and he's trying to shimmy it to a different position.
Oh my God.
And ends up just catching the gutter and sliding. Yeah. And the whole thing's just going down. And I have to jump off my ladder. Otherwise, it's a 300-pound ladder, by the way. Would have hit me in the side of the head, probably fucking killed me. Yeah. And I jump off, and the thing just crashes, hits like a tree. There was no damage or anything. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And he was like, all right, I'm fucking hammered. And I was like, God damn it. So I made him walk around with a bucket all day, and he only did shit he could stand. He got like the first 6 feet of the home.
Yeah, the 6 feet looks great. I remember one of the guys I had would paint his shoes. He painted his shoes the house that we just did, so he remember what house we did. It was like, because they would call him, we're like, did you guys finish that job? What was it? It was, and he couldn't remember the addresses. He was like, yeah, it was like a green or something. Like, oh yeah, that house. So his shoes got really thick by the end of the summer.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that was wait, so let me back this out a bit. Emily.
Oh no.
What is the, how long have you guys been doing this?
Since
This is probably
End of
October.
October.
Yeah.
End of October?
It's probably episode 30 something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
34, 5, 5, 6. Oh.
Okay, and has it been getting better or
Oh yeah. Well,
More people are listening to it,
The
but-
substance of the podcast
Yeah.
or the growth?
Quality or growth?
you tell me?
Quality has been the same.
Growth has been exponential.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
We probably have like 50, 60,000 listeners per episode.
Something.
So, but what was it that like? Were you a producer here before? And
It all kind of happened around the same time, actually.
okay,
They had a podcast before she got hired that was cut this. Horrible. It was so bad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Founders of this is the worst podcast ever.
They know. They wouldn't
No,
care.
I know. We'll cut it anyway. And then Emily came on and they had us do the podcast instead.
right.
Basically, like, we took their old format of the podcast and kind of like, it was like people at the company kind of like hopping in and out as being hosts. And they were just like, all right, let's make Will and Liam the permanent hosts.
Right.
And instead of like the Friday Beers podcast, we changed it to like Almost Friday podcast because it was less like bro-y and like drinking beers. And it was just more like comedy based.
Right.
So like that's when I came in and kind of like helped.
No, I wasn't sure if you were the one behind it because every podcast I've seen, it's we yell at Emily.
well,
it's a lot.
well,
of that.
yeah. She used to have quite a mouth on her.
I didn't want to jump on
really
the bandwagon right off the hop.
Oh, you can. You're more than.
I was like,
welcome.
what-
But the
If she's upsetting,
yeah.
She can sling it.
I feel like Howie Mandel right now. Look at that.
Yeah.
Your career's done.
you can take that when you're big entertainer guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on to this.
Any guest on the pod is allowed to hop on the bandwagon, but the listeners are annoying about it.
How long have we been recording, by the way?
We can wrap it. It's been 2 hours.
Holy
Well,
shit.
we got really good stuff in there though.
Yeah, we'll have to cut it down for sure.
Well, I was gonna say if there's one thing, do you guys have? I had one question, because it just means I have something. But do you guys ever have a sketch in your phone that you want to do, but it's impossible to do in theory?
Yeah, I definitely have a few of those.
Or you're like, this is too dumb, and you're like, the amount of effort to do this is so dumb versus what the payoff would be.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you? What's one? We can cut it if you want to end up using it.
I don't know if I do. I wanted to do one. So I had this one sketch where this guy makes giant murals on cardboard kind of thing, like big cutout stands for, a giant robot that does this, at festivals. So I was like, all right. And I had this thing where I was on the phone at a rave venue. The rave's about to start, but I'm dressed up like Brian the dog. And
from Family Guy.
yeah.
Whatever Brian the dog is.
Brian the dog.
No,
and
no.
dressed up like Brian the dog from Family Guy. And behind me, I have a huge, giant cutout of Roger the alien. But he kind of looks like ethnically not Roger the alien, we'll put it that way. And there's a fog machine blowing out his ass. And I'm on the phone just like, yeah, hey man, it's Graeme here. Yeah, the cutout looks great. One thing, I said it was a Family Guy themed rave. This is clearly Roger the alien. Also, he has a unibrow and the fog machine is out his ass. Yeah, I know people aren't going to care, but I care. And then you just hear like from the corner, like DJ Doggy Brian, it's you're on in 10. Like, all right, I have to go, but we'll talk about this later.
That's so good.
But it's like so much effort just
Oh,
for
yeah,
that.
it's
Yeah,
a
like
ton
the
of effort.
board, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
I
excellent
fucking
though.
like it though.
yeah. I don't know. I got that because there was those like Shrek raves. I was like, all right,
You can borrow our fog machine. We have one.
Yeah, okay.
That's one thing.
That's one piece of the puzzle.
Well, we
Yeah.
have a giant alien, Roger the Alien, cardboard cutout. So
Oh,
We have a Avril Lavigne cardboard cutout.
yeah, if you want
Mix
to
that
take.
in.
I had Fabio cut out, who's like the He-Man kind of guy.
Oh, we're aware.
And thank you. And some people say I look like Fabio. You know,
do.
Thank you.
You
And,
have the locks
right. Not
of hair.
Just the okay. And
The bone structure too,
all right. Thank you. And
and the voice, and the you have the charisma,
The X Factor.
and the X Factor.
and I'm back. I'm back.
I don't know what it is, but you have it.
Thank you. That's all I want to hear. But yeah, I would bring that cutout to school. Again, all boys Jesuit school with all these rules, but they had no rules about bringing Fabio to class. Mm-hmm. Because they'd always be like, it says in this number for
checked the
dress
rule
code.
book.
And so I would always be that guy. I would like tie helium balloons to my backpack. They're like, you can't do this. I'm like, where? What do you mean I can't do this? So it was always like, I also would print out pictures of the teachers. Because this was at that weird period when they were just creating their own like network for the school. Like log into the school. Like it was just at that point where like the school was like, we're trying this new thing. Okay. It's like Facebook, but for school. What could go wrong? And so they would like, you could access, you could DM your teacher through the program or whatever. And so, but they had everyone's class picture. And so I would like, just like drag them into a Word document, stretch them a little bit off, either too skinny or too wide.
Yeah.
And I'd just print out some copies and I would, in the display trophy case, you could unlock it, and like, that one where you need a key and a janitor to come all the way down from the basement. I would just like take a picture and just poke it in.
Oh, that's awesome.
So like people would come in and they would just see like a slightly wider version of the math teacher. But it wasn't like I didn't draw on him. I was like, oh, that's the teacher. But they would get so pissed.
Did you get caught?
Yeah, all the time. But I was like, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm proud of my teachers. You should be too. So
My buddy ordered a pizza through the bathroom window one time. And
that's good.
Called to the office and did the same thing. Just pulled out the book and was like, where does it say? He was like, touche. Don't do it again.
Yeah, don't do it again. We have now written a new book.
Yeah.
We had like a grad prank, and they would like, there was a bunch of shit that happened, but the funniest one was we filled like a classroom, like a couple classrooms up with cups of water, like everywhere. So you couldn't even open the door. And if you did, everything fell over and got wet. Yeah. But people started pissing in them. Oh. So then it went from being funny to like, oh, now we're in trouble. There's piss in the science room. More than we want it, but yeah.
I heard this story. My buddy went to military school in Massachusetts, and they would piss into plastic bags and then freeze it, and they would slide that under people's doors with it open, and so that it would melt throughout the night, and the piss would just leak. So they would just open.
Seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah,
for something like that.
Pretty cool though.
It is cool.
Pretty cool to get your piss in someone's room.
It's in. What's the right word?
Imagine waking up in the middle of the night. You're like, oh, popsicle. Just like, thanks, man. Lemon? Lemon with a hint of asparagus, I guess. I don't know.
Would you like to plug anything?
Oh, yeah, please. Where do they follow you? Where do they find you?
If they want to find me, they'll find me. They always do.
That's awesome.
Nothing to plug. Everything I'd like to plug doesn't exist yet. So
yeah,
just watch me from the shadows at this point.
And what's your Instagram handle?
At Audioopera, not Audioopera.
I did think it was Audioopera for a while.
It confuses them.
Sometimes I'll follow someone for months, and then I realize I've been reading their username wrong the whole time, and I feel like a fucking idiot. I don't know.
That's the worst.
Anyway, right.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in, man.
Graeme, thank you.
Yeah, that was a hard landing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Didn't pull the chute too early.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Back to the real world.
It's almost like I have to like do this for you.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. Thanks, Emily.
Thanks.
Glad to have
Bye,
you back.
everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.